Welcome to another video on Quantower trading platform. Now let's take a look at the chart panel, templates and binds in Quantower. Now let's open up the chart panel. In order to open up the chart panel, you can go to the favorites section and here you can click on this chart, or you can click on this Quantower icon and you can search for chart, and in this analytics section you can find chart. Click on that, the chart panel will open. Now when the chart panel opens, we can see that this panel opens with the default symbol that we have set. In this case, the default symbol is Nifty Bank, and that's why when I opened up the chart panel, it opened the Nifty Bank symbol. Now in the top section of this chart panel, we can find the symbol name, which is Nifty Bank, and then the chart type, which is time-based chart, and the time interval is 5 minutes. Now here, the first thing is how we can change the symbol. So here you can see the symbol and the connection from which this symbol has been loaded. If we click on that, we have the option to search for the symbol and select that. So here, for the demonstration purpose, I will search for Nifty 50, and from the connection, the resulting symbols are displayed, and here from indexes, I will click on this Nifty 50. Now here in this section, we can find this I symbol or information symbol. If you click on that, it will open up a small panel where we can see the information about the symbols. So now, if I click on this Nifty 500, then we can find the information related to Nifty 500. Now what I do is I will double click on this Nifty 50, and the Nifty 50 symbol data will be loaded in this chart panel. So that's what happened here. Now the next section that we can see here is the chart type. Now you can see time and 5 minute mentioned here. It means that the chart loaded here is a time-based chart and the time interval is 5 minutes. Now if we click on this, we have the option to select different chart types, and we can change the settings for the chart types. So here in the left hand side, we can find favorites, which is nothing but some chart types and their settings are given by default. If we want, we can create our own favorite, or we can delete the existing favorites in here by clicking on this delete icon. Now the advantage of this is you can set up your favorite chart types and you will be quickly able to access them. Now here in the right hand section, we can find the chart type, which is time in this case. If I click on that, I can see several chart types. For example, Heikinashi, rain bars, renko, kagi, point and figure. So you can select whatever the chart type that you want. For example, I will select kagi here, and then depending on the chart type that you select, you will get the options to change the settings for them. For example, for kagi chart, the period is 15 minutes. Again, you can change them depending on whether you want 15 hour, 5 hour, whatever that you want, you can select this. And then the reversal value is 10 and the range is 10 days. This range is nothing but how many days of data to load. And then once you make all these settings, if you want to save it as a favorite, then you can find this star icon. So if we click on that, this particular chart setting will be added here in favorites. So that is what happened now. For example, if I change this one to, let us say 30, and now if I click on this star, you guys can see kagi 30 minute 10 day, that setting has been added here. So now if I click on apply here, the chart will be loaded with whatever the settings that I have mentioned. Now again, I will click on this. I will select time-based charts. For this particular example, I will choose 5 minute charts and 5 minutes as the time interval, and I will load 10 days of data, and I will click on apply. Now the chart has been loaded here. Now the next thing that we see here is the chart style. Candle is selected. If we click on this arrow, then we can find other options like bar chart, line chart, and then dotted line, then area, and then another option is there called as Quantower, which is similar to candlestick, but instead of wicks we get the color shades. I will choose candlestick here, candle. And after that, just below this section, we can find the details about this ticker. For example, we can find the bar number. Wherever we take the cursor, the bar number is displayed here. And after that, we have the date. And again, depending on where the cursor is, these values will change. For example, date, time, open, high, low, close, volume, change, text, all this information are displayed here. If we right click here, then we have the option called as show in short mode, which is checked here, which is nothing but instead of displaying open, high, low or close, it will just use the shortcuts like H for high, L for low, C for close and all these things. Now if I uncheck this, you guys can see information is displayed with full detail like high, low, close, open. So that's it about this particular setting. So the next thing is if you go to the top right section, we can find this particular icon. If this one is checked like this, then it will enable the volume analysis toolbar, which is displayed in the bottom section. If you just unselect this, then the volume analysis toolbar will be hidden. So that is the use of this particular option. And then we have the order panel. We will talk about this order panel in a separate video. One thing is, we can hide or unhide the order panel by clicking on this icon, and we have the options to enable the quick entry, trade from mouse, trade from keyboard options here. And then just above that, we can see the options to minimize the chart, maximize the chart, and make the chart full screen. For example, this option, if I click on this, it will make this particular chart panel full screen. So in order to come out of this full screen, I have to press the escape key. And that's it about this setting. And after that, we have the price scale in here. If we right click here, we have the options to alter the price scale. For example, whether you want the values to be displayed in absolute values or whether you want it to be displayed in relative terms, then you guys can see the options. I will choose absolute. And you have other options which will allow you to adjust the charts view depending on the indicators, drawings, whether you want to make it centered, whether you want everything to be in view. All these options are available. You can try with this. Now in the bottom section of this chart panel, we have this plus and minus icons, which will zoom in and zoom out. And then here we can find this particular icon. If you click on that, it will just take you to the latest candle, wherever you are. For example, in this case, if you just want to come back to the latest candle, then you just have to click on this icon. It will take you back to the latest candle. And after that, in the bottom section, we can find the time scale. If we right click on this, we have the option to display the separator for day, week, month and year. It will just separate the days or months or weeks by using a line like this. For example, in this case, this is the day separator. So by looking at this, we can see that where the day starts and where the day ends. So that option is there. And then if we go to the top left section, then we can find this particular icon, which will display or hide this object toolbar. For example, now it is hidden. If I click on this toolbar will be displayed. And then we have an icon here, which is for adding indicators. If I click on that, it will open up the indicator search panel. We can search for the indicator and we can add it. For example, I can search for RSI, and if I double click on this, the indicator will be added and the indicator settings window will open. After making the settings, I can close this. And after that, we have this option called as overlay, which is nothing but if you want to see the information about more than one symbol in here in the chart, then you can add them as overlays. For example, if I click on this here, I can search for a symbol and I can add it as the overlay. For example, while looking at this Nifty 50 chart, if I want to take a look at the wicks, then I can add India wicks. Double click on that, it will open up the overlay settings. I can make the settings here, whether I want the price scale to be in a separate scale or not, whether I want the chart style to be line or a candle, all these options are available. We can customize it, and then we can click on apply. So what I have done right now is I have added the India wicks as a overlay, and that is displayed using the candles. So now you guys can see the India wicks along with the Nifty 50. Nifty 50 price scale is available in the right hand side. India wicks price scale is available in the left hand side. Now if you want to change the settings, then you can go to this overlay option which is displayed here. A settings icon will appear. Click on that, change the settings. For example, instead of using the candlestick charts, I can say I want a line chart. I can do that. Change the colors. All these options are available. If the prices are far away, then it is better to use separate scale. If the prices are very close, if the prices are almost same, then you can go with the same scale. So we can close this here. And one more thing, you can add more than one symbol as the overlay. So just click on this overlay, search for a symbol and add it. For example, I will search for Nifty Bank this time, and I will add it. Double click on that. It will open up the overlay settings window. Again, I'm not going to change anything. Line chart, a different color, and click on apply. Now you guys can see here the Nifty Bank data is loaded here. And after that, if you want to remove any overlays, then you can come here. You can find the X option to remove. Just click on that. It will remove the overlay. Now the next option that is available here is for setting the alerts. Click on this, and you can set up the alerts. One good thing is that you can place multiple alerts in one go. All you have to do is press the control key in your keyboard, and then click on the areas where you want to place the alerts. Good thing is that if you have indicators, then you can set up the alerts depending on the indicator values also. For example, in this RSI indicator, I can set up the alert here. For example, one here, like this, I can set up all the alerts. If you want to remove the alerts, just click on this alert line, then press the delete key, or when you click on the alert line, or when you select that, you will get a small option here to make the settings and delete. Just click on delete, or if you want to make any changes, then you can do that. So the next thing that we see here is the drawing library. If you click on this, you can see a lot of drawing options available. And when you take the cursor on any of these options, you can see a star icon next to them. If you click on this star, then that particular drawing option will be added here as a shortcut. You will be quickly able to access that. So here you can select a drawing tool and you can start drawing. For example, I can take this line tool and I can start, I can plot a line, something like that. I can use a text tool. I can use it here, write some text. For example, something like this. You can enter proper values. You can make some adjustments like change the fonts, change the size, change the color. All these options are available, and there are many more drawing tools available in here. You can check them out. And after that, if we go to the left down section, we can find this undo and redo buttons. So whatever that you do on the chart, if you want to undo them or redo them, then you can do that. And then we have the option to change the visibility of chart objects. For example, if you click on that, you have the option to hide all the objects, hide all the indicators, or you have the option to hide the overlays. For example, in this case, overlay is gone. Similarly, if you want to hide the drawings, then also you will be able to do that. If you want to display them back, then again click on this, you will get the option to display them back. So all these options are available. And then we have the option to delete. So by using this, you can remove the indicators from the chart, overlays, drawings, or you can remove everything from the chart. And then we have this particular option, which is called as Object Manager. If you click on that, you can see all the drawings, indicators, overlays which are present in the chart. You will be able to quickly access the settings of them, or if you want to delete them from the chart, you guys can do that just by clicking on this delete icon here. Now the next thing is, when you right click on the chart, you will see some options, which most of them are the same settings that we have seen in this chart. For example, symbol lookup, object manager, style, where you can select the type of chart style. All these options are the same. And here, you have the option to add the overlay, add the indicators. All these options are there. If you want to export the data of the chart, then you can do that by clicking on this export data, and you can select what you want to export. Then you can export the information to a file. And similarly, you have the option to reload the history from the server or refresh the chart. And then we have the settings. If you click on this, it will open up the chart settings window. Here we can do some settings on the chart. You can do some basic chart settings in here. All these options are available. Now let us take a look at some of them. For example, this data style. By using this, you can change the colors and other settings for the chart styles. For example, here the candle is selected. For example, what I have done is, for body color, I have not selected any color. I have transparent, and that's why you can see the hollow candles in here. If I want to add body colors, then all I have to do is just select the colors for the candle bodies. It will appear here. Similarly, you can choose other chart styles and you can select the colors for them. Whatever the color and the color combination that you want, you can select that and it will appear in the chart. I will go back to the candle, and then here we have some options like hotkeys. I will make a separate video and I will talk about this. By using this, you can quickly work with Quantower. For example, you can set up the shortkeys for loading different indicators, loading different symbols, loading different time frames and all. So we will make a separate video about that. Now, if we go to the top section of this chart panel, then we can find 3 lines. If we click on that, we can see some information like settings is there. If I click on that, it will open up the chart settings window, and we can see the options of getting a help, and then make screenshot. This option is here. So what happens is, if I click on this chart panel's screenshot will be taken, and that screenshot will be copied to the clipboard. If I open up the Paint, and if I do Control V or paste, then that particular chart panel, that screenshot will be displayed here. Now what I can do is I can work with this. For example, if I want to draw something, or if I want to make any changes in here to this image, then I can do that. And then if I want to post it on social media or something, then I will be able to do it. Along with this, we can find other options like here we have always on top, which is nothing but if we choose this, what happens is this particular chart panel will be placed on above all other windows. For example, if I open up the Explorer window here, it will not be visible. For example, here I have this Explorer window from Windows Explorer, and now if I open up the Quantower and if I make this chart panel small, then even if I go to the Explorer window, this chart panel will be above that. So if you want to have a window above everything in your screen, then you can use this option. So now I will uncheck that option. And after that, we have set default, apply template, and save as template. We will talk about that in a short while. And we have an option here called as duplicate panel. As the name indicates, if I click on that, it will duplicate the panel with the exact same settings. So here right now you guys can see 2 panels. The duplicate panel is there. We can create as many duplicates we want by using that option. And after that, we have the option to create a new panel. For example, if you want to open up a new chart panel, or whether you want to open up the TPO chart panel or any other panel, you have some options here. For example, I can say symbol info. It will open up the symbol info panel. So quickly you can open up all these panels. Now let us talk about this set default option. So what I will do is I will close all these duplicated panels and I will go back to this one particular panel. and I will get rid of this overlay that I have added, and I will get rid of this indicator also from the chart. So I will have a simple chart here. Now here you can see this option called as set default. So this option in a panel can be used to set the default values for that panel. What it means is, let us say you use certain settings all the time in a panel. What you can do is you can do that setting once and you can set them as default values. For example, let us say if I always use the 30-minute chart, then what I can do is I can choose the 30-minute chart here, and if I want to load 10 days of data, then I can say 30-minute chart 10 days, and then I can go to the order panel here, and if I always trade, let us say like 5 lots, then I can specify the quantity as 5 here. Then I can enable the volume analysis toolbar in the bottom, and here I can make the certain settings which I always use. For example, just for the demonstration purpose, if I use double here, then I can select the setting. I am not enabling all these options, but I'm just changing the settings. Similarly, I can go to, let us say time statistics, and I can have the volume and delta here, and then I will go to power trades and I will specify, let us say 500 total volume here. I'm not enabling any of these panels, I'm just changing the settings for them. Let's assume that these are the settings that I always use in this chart panel. So after making all these settings, what I can do is I can go to this option here. I can click on this 3 lines here, and then I can say set as default. So what happens from now on is whenever I open up the chart panel, all these settings will be there. For example, if I open up the chart panel now, you can see in this new chart panel, the quantity is 5, the time period is 30 minutes, and if I go to the cluster settings here, the double value is selected, and if I go to time statistics, you can see delta and volume are selected, and then in power trades 500 is here. So all these settings which I use all the time in this chart panel, they are the default settings now. Now some people, what they do is they use this option slightly differently. What they do is let us say they use the indicators like RSI or any other indicator always in all the charts. What they do is they add the indicators also to this, and then they set them as default. Of course, when you do that, when you open up a new chart panel, whatever the indicators that you have added, they will also be there. But if you want to use the indicators, then I think there is a better way, which is nothing but you can use this templates option. So how we can do that? I will add some indicators to the chart now. I will right click here, indicators, add indicators. For the demonstration purpose, I will use a CPR. I will just add it, not worrying about any values. So the indicator is here right now, as you guys can see. So what you can do is after adding all the indicators that you use, what you can do is you can click on these 3 lines, and then you can say save as template. The advantage of this is you can set up different templates with different indicators. For example, here I will say my templates, and you can give a shortcut for that. For example, I'm going to say empty and then click on save. So now let us close all these panels and let's open up the chart panel. So what happens now is this chart panel will be loaded with the default settings that I have. For example, in the order panel, the quantity is 5. If I go to cluster, the double is selected, or power trades 500 is there, but the chart doesn't have any indicators. So now what I can do is I can load whatever the indicator template I want. To do that, I just have to click on these 3 lines, and then I have to apply template, and then I can find the template that I have created, which is my templates. So if I click on that, now you guys can see the CPR indicator which I have added is present here. So the advantage of this is when you open up the new chart panel, your chart will be clean and then whatever the indicator template that you want, you can apply that to the chart. Now the next thing that we can see is about the link and create bind. We will see how we can use the link option. So now what I will do is I will make this chart panel small. I will create one more chart panel. I will add it here. Then I will add another chart panel. I will place it here like this, but I will reduce the size like this. I will hide all the order panels here, and then I will open up the watchlist panel. I will add it here like this. So now what we can do is we can link the charts together, and to link them what we have to do is we have to click on these three lines in each of the panel, and we have to go to link, and we have to select what are the parameters to link, whether we want to link the symbol, whether you want to link the account which is used for trading, whether you want to link the number of days of data to load. All these options that you can select, and then you can assign a color. For example, here I will say red. Now I will go to other panels, I will go to link, and I will make them red. Here again I will go here, link, and I will make them red. So now what happens is all these panels are linked. So if I take the cursor in one of these panel, then you can see the cursor moving in the other panels also. So what you can do is you can have all these panels with different time frame. For example, I will make this a 5-minute chart. This one is 30-minute, and for this one I will choose 1 day. If we change the symbol in one chart, that change will reflect in other charts. For example, here if I search for Nifty 50, and if I open up this, then you can see the same symbol has been loaded in other panels also, because all these are linked now. Now one cool trick I want to show you here is I have added the watchlist panel. So what I want to do is I will add a watchlist to this watchlist panel. So I will click on this, and then I will go to True Data Plus, because I have the True Data connection, Nifty sector indices, and add to watchlist. So now you can see all the indices in this chart panel. So if I want to see the chart of any of these symbol which is present in the watchlist, then what I can do is I can select this and drag that symbol to any of this chart, and the chart will be updated. But if I just select any of the symbol in the watchlist, nothing happens to the chart. But if I want to change the chart, then I have to drag that symbol and put it in any of the chart. One cool trick that we can do is we can link this watchlist along with these charts. So in order to do that, we will click on this three lines, link, and the red color which is used for all these charts. Now the cool thing is if I just click on this any of the symbols in the watchlist, the other charts will be updated, because this watchlist is linked with these charts. So depending on how you want to use this, you can use this feature. So just click on any of the symbol in the watchlist, the values will be updated in this chart panels. All these panels contain only one one symbol. If you want, you can have groups of panels here. For example, I will create a chart panel. If I drag it to this particular chart panel like this, then you can see it is a group now. It contains 2 chart panels. And again, if you want, you can link that, but I will not do it. Similarly, with this watchlist also, if you want, you can group it with another watchlist like this. So here you can see we have 2 watchlists now. Similarly, if you want to add any other panel and you want to group it here, you can do that. For example, I will search for option analytics, and I will open up this panel, and I can group it here along with this watchlist. So here you can see the option analytics, and then a watchlist, and then another watchlist. So the last thing that we see here is how we can create a bind. So what is a bind? A bind is a collection of the panels or panel groups. So here After setting up the workspace, depending on whatever your need is, however the way you organize the panels, what you can do is you can group them together. To do that, you just have to click on these 3 lines, and then you can find create bind, click on that, and then select the panels, or you can just drag the cursor like this. All you have to do is you go through all the panels, and after that you will find the option create bind, click on that, it will create the bind. The advantage of this is all these panels will be there wherever their place is, but what you can do is you can change the size of them. For example, you can make them smaller or larger, all these options are available, but you can't remove a panel from this bind now. If you want to remove this bundle, all you have to do is unbind this and then update it. For example, if I click on this bind, I can unbind, then I can find a panel. For example, I can delete this entire group just by clicking on this close. I will say yes. You guys can see that group is gone. Now I will organize it like this, and then I can create the bind. So here, create bind, I will select all these panels and then click on create bind. Again, now I have changed the layout, panels, rearrange the panels. So this is it guys for this video. If you guys need any other information, then post them in the comment section, or you guys can message me on my Telegram channel. That's it guys. Thank you for watching. See you later in the next one.